Good evening, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and pre-record a lesson for the quiz review today. Make sure that you have your Desmos calculator open and it is ready to use because never forget, Desmos is our friend. It is the key to our success. I do recommend that you do this quiz the same way we do every quiz, which is to watch me do it and then pause and make sure you know how to do it before you go and handle the quiz itself. So let's go ahead and start this lesson with a little warm-up. They want us to find out which expression is equivalent to 36b squared plus 60b plus 25. And I'm going to look here, these two terms, everything is squared. So I know I want something with 6b and something with 25. So I'm not even going to check this one, and I'm not going to check this one. Okay. So again, we can, and that's because 6 times 6 is 36, and 25 times 5 is 25. So we have 36x squared, and again, I'm just using x because it's simpler. And I'm going to try 6x plus 5, and I'm going to square that. And we can see that it goes through, it covers the entire graph. So therefore, the answer is B. Today's learning objective is to identify and factor trinomials, including perfect square trinomials, such as the one in the warm-up, so that we can rewrite their expression in their factored form and that we can factor any given trinomial correctly and verify your answer by expanding. Okay, so remember we review our answers. This is what our factor by graphing will look like. And a reminder of what to do if you're only given one factor and asked to find the other. All right, let's go over the vocabulary, and then at the end of this, I will say pause, and then you'll go ahead and work on your notes or your assignment that you have available for you. All right, a mathematical phrase that includes numbers, variables, and operation, but does not have an equal sign, that is going to be an expression. All right, two expressions or values that are equal in value, even if they look different, they are equivalent. If we're rewriting a number or expression as a product of its factors, the process is calling that factor. We're calling that factor. That's the verb. Okay? We call that factoring or factor. Don't forget to check out the video I linked in the other lesson called Teach Me How to Factor. I would love it. And a trinomial that is the result of squaring a binomial is a perfect square trinomial. All right, so I want you to pause here, take a moment, and make sure that your notes, your version of this assignment is filled in. Okay, so what is the greatest common factor, GCF, of 8b squared and 2b? All right, so how are we going to find the greatest common factor? Well, the best way to do it is to make a list of all the factors and find the one that is the highest number on both lists. The first thing you do is take the b's. I have two b's here, b times b, and I have one b here, 1b. So I'm going to get rid of b squared. I only want answers that have a single b. So it's always the lowest number of the variables. Okay. Then we're going to make a list of the factors of both numbers. And the largest number that is on both lists is 4. So it is 4b. Now, can you make Desmos do this for you? Absolutely. At the very least, you can make it give you the list of factors. So all I would do is say y is equal to whatever number you're trying to factor divided by x Don't worry about the graph because that's not important here. You're going to hit the little the gear, and then you're going to hit create table. Okay. We only want factors that are whole numbers. That's going to be anytime something divides, anytime where I get x as a whole number and y as a whole number. Okay. So when I have 3, 3 is not a factor of 20 because it doesn't give me a whole number. But 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20 all are because they are whole numbers. Once again, if you once you reach the point where they turn back around and start repeating themselves, so here we have 4, 5, and then we go 5, 4 on the other side. That is how you know it's time to stop. You don't have to keep going after that. All right, take a pause here. Pause here. Okay. Now, this is a special type of factoring called used for g squared minus 16, and it is called difference of squares. Now, the reason we know it's difference of squares is it's two squares, so g squared, that's a square, minus another square. Okay, so you have no middle term here, so it's a difference of squares. The way you factor difference of squares is if you're given it like this, g squared minus 16. That is the same as saying a squared minus b squared. Okay, what is a, what is b? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to put in parentheses here, like that. So what is going to go in A? The G. What's going to go in here? Well, what is the square? What becomes 16? It's 4. So you're going to take the square root of G squared is G, and the square root of 16 is 4. And so when we factor this, it becomes G plus 4. Let me rewrite that because it looks awful. And G minus 4. Anytime you see a squared minus b squared or any square minus another squared, it is saying a plus b times a minus b. And if you look on the star formula chart, it is there. Now let me just prove that I wasn't making this up. So we're going to say x squared minus 16. And then we get x plus 4, x minus 4. And you can see that they overlap. All right, we want to look at here. This says the graph of a squared plus or minus 5a minus 6 is shown below. Which of the following shows a factor? So we just want to see which ones go through the line at the point. So the only one that works is, ooh, let's not highlight that in red. That has red. All right, this one right here, because we can see the line here. That's a filled circle. Okay, you can see where the line and the parabola intersect. Which expression is equivalent to 2m squared plus 9m minus 5? We can see these are all very similar expressions. So again, all we have to do is go to our Desmos calculator, type in our equation, and I'm going to use the x simply because I don't have to put anything else if I do that, plus 9x minus 5. And then I am going to take each of these answers, and let's see if I can just copy and paste them. Perfect. Oh, those are m's. X x. Okay, well, the first one I tried overlapped, so that's convenient. I did not know that was going to happen. Also, these are the same answer. So as long as you put that, and you'll be good. Let me go ahead and screenshot this. Just remember, when you graph the answer and the answer choice and the problem itself, the answer choice will cover the problem if it's the correct answer choice. All right, which expression is equivalent to? All right, we've got 8n squared plus 8n minus 6. And I'm going to just change it to 8 and x. 8x squared plus 8x minus 6. All right. 5 times 1 is not 5, or it's not 6. Look, we're going to look at these last two numbers, okay? So we're going to look at, does the last two numbers, are they factors of our constant? Okay. 5 times -1 is -5. I'm not going to check that one. -6 times 2 is -12. I'm not going to check that one. 4 times -1 is -4. Again, I don't want to check that one. So my best guess, just based on my knowledge of what numbers multiply to give us -6, is to try 4n minus 2 and 2n plus 3. So I have 4x minus 2, and I'm going to do it with the line simply because I want it to be able to show both all the graphs at the same time, minus plus 3. Oops. And we can again see that the lines go through the graph of the parabola. And they do it at the zeros. All right. I'd ask if you have any questions, but this is not live. Question 7, which expression is a factor of 3x squared plus 13x minus 10? Okay, and we're just going to test each of these. Again, what we're going to look here is at the first number, 3. Any of these 3 could be it, but it can't be this last one because it says 13. Also, 3 is not a factor of 10. So we know there's nothing we can do with this one. There's no reason to try this one. Okay, that's not going to be one of our appropriate answer. All of the rest of them, we really can't decide right now just by looking, but we can check them as we go. And again, we can use the zeros to help check us. So we have one that would be ending in 5. Do we have anything? No? All right, opposite of the back divided by the front. Okay. So let's do 3x plus 2, 3x minus 2, and we had x minus 2. All right, so we can see the green one is the one that goes through. And so therefore, that is the point or the factor that we are looking for, is the green, the one that we have with green, which is 3x minus 2. Right, which expression is equivalent to 9x squared minus 25? Remember, I told you if you have a square minus a square, you are definitely going to have a plus and a minus. So we know that it cannot be this last one. The next thing I want to look at is what number do we expect it to end in? And that's going to be the square root of 25, which is 5. So it's not going to be this one. And then we want to know what the expression is for here. Square root of 9x squared is 3x. So it is going to be this answer. 3x plus 5, 3x minus 5. But don't take my word for it. We all know that Desmos is definitely the most trustworthy mathematician that we all know. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you that 3x plus 5 times 3x minus 5 is the same equivalent expression. If I turn the blue one off and on. Okay. Question 9. Which expression is a factor of 2x squared plus 13x minus 24? The one I am not going to look at is the one ending in 13 because 13 cannot turn into 24. Okay. So let's go ahead and graph these. We have 2x squared plus 13x minus 24. And then we are going to check our factors. We have a negative 8 and we have 1.5. So I actually think x plus 8 is a good one to check, but we're going to check all of them. So let's say x minus 24. That is definitely not the answer. Wait, I should have answered that call. All right. Then we have 2x minus 24. Also not the answer. X plus 8 goes through the point, and so therefore that is the answer we wanted. All right, last one, final. Which expressions are equivalent to 4x squared plus 24x plus 36? Oops, I don't want the question mark. Well, let's go ahead and find out. We have 4x squared plus 24x plus 36. And then we're just going to go ahead and go through and go 4x plus 12, x plus 3. Okay, that's not one of them. We have 4x times x plus 36. Again, that's also not one. We have 4 times x plus 3 times x plus 3. That one does overlap our red graph. And then we have 4 times x squared plus 6x plus 9. So we can see that the green and the blue were not correct, but the black and the purple were good. We're correct. Okay. All right, guys, so let's just remember that you get 3 tries on any of your quizzes. All right, don't just rush through them. Notice it took me about 20 minutes to get through this page of notes, and that was without doing anything special. So there's really no reason you should be taking less than 5 minutes on these quizzes. Take your time. No one's going to stop you from finishing, all right? So please do that. Get the quiz done. Do your best. And keep a check on your emails because I will be sending out a video progress reports again on Friday. See you later, guys. Bye.